Okay, the first thing is the grip. We're okay with the right hand on it. It's a little strong, but we can live with that. It's the backhand where the hands and the fingers, as I'm demonstrating here, my hand is underneath and your hand is in flexion, which it needs to be an extension. You can't apply leverage to the club with your hand on an angle. We're trying to get leverage to that club to the ball. So it's going to look like that. And so we're trying to get where here you can see this your left hand, where I'm seeing fingertips, flexion. And for your swing to evolve, the power that you get into the swing, this hand just has to learn to get on top and get comfortable. And you just have to keep practicing using one of those training grips. Practice, put your hands on it every time. Because there's a leverage point right here that every tour player needs. We're applying leverage with that part of that hand to the shaft. And yours is underneath the shaft. So the only thing you can do with your hand is go up. You can't apply leverage down. And you'll see as the videos go, we're trying to get to that, how to that. Now, there's 6 things you possibly can move to hit a golf shot. You got your shoulders, hips, you got your core muscles, you got your legs as you push off the ground and your ground reaction of forces, you got wrists and arms. Your swing is dominated 100% by 2 things, your shoulders and your wrist. And that's where you're trying to get all this energy. So if I go back and forth, you see all that energy is from there. You're not really using the ground as a force. You're just kind of using the ground, your feet to hang on kind of for dear life with all the energy you're creating, which is a tremendous amount of force in your swing. But you can't get the club consistently back to contact with all the different clubs you have to hit. And so part of this is we work on this is just to understand your shoulders is your power force. And we don't want to, that right there, you'll see right through impact this front shoulder here. It keeps pulling away from the thing that you're trying to hit. And then the hands have to kind of flip it over. And with that grip not being on correctly, it's hard to apply leverage. And so that face right there, you can see that face is wide open at that point. And it's hard to get that face back to consistently being square. So how do we do that? First thing is we're going to swing, let's do it this way. Our first drill. First thing you want to see is you're hitting something, is you're trying to apply leverage to something, the bag or the ball. And you see as I'm doing this motion, I'm not trying to get to the finish. I'm trying to get everything to the bag. And we're going to do it from the ground up, meaning we're going to move from your core, ground forces, arms, and arms will drop, and we're applying leverage. And I always think of it as leverage. So there's a load and there's a force, and that's what we're looking at here. You can see that you have the load, but the force is moving away from the thing that you're trying to hit. So keep that in mind. We're going to look at some different things here. And when a tour player hits the ball, they have quiet hands to impact. The hands are quiet. You see here, it's not like going on. See how your hands have a lot of activity because they're trying to make up for that. And all that angle, that's the face angle changing through impact. And golf swings, just picture that bag here. They're not trying to lift the bag. They're just trying to leverage the bag. So there's no lift. It's leverage. So I always see the ball as a leverage point, not a lift. And we have to soften up some of these angles while your hands are moving all over the place. So the first drill we did was this is a good drill for you to do, is just to feel I'm hugging my core with my front arm. It's my left, your right. And I'm hugging my arm to my core. My right arm is going to go up and down like I'm throwing a ball, but my wrist will stay in what we call extension, which means it's still bent. Flexion means it's the opposite. And I'm applying leverage to this bag. I'm not trying to lift the bag. I'm applying leverage from my core muscles, my leg, and my arm and you'll see that my front shoulder doesn't pull away from the hit, because instinctively, if I told you to hit this bag, you wouldn't take your body and pull away from the bag you're trying to hit. So you need to apply leverage to the bag. And that's where all the force comes from, right there. So you're driving, that's why we stay down through the shot. Now here with Roy McIlroy from the tour, you'll see as he applies leverage, see this front shoulder isn't going anywhere because he's using his core muscles, his legs, to create a force of energy to create power to the ball. And that's what your swing has to get, that force. Because eventually you have to get the energy out of you into the club. The problem is you can't get it to the club in time. It's just running late because the shoulder pulls away. It's just always running late, so there's a force. And right there, Roy can get the energy out of the club into the ball there. This is Jon Rahm. Even though he doesn't look Roy as a hit, but as he applies leverage to something, they still all look the same. Front shoulder doesn't spin away. Core and legs are applying leverage. And that's really the theme of this, is just you hitting balls, feeling leverage at impact. Not speed, but leverage. Now the second part of the swing, this is, they're applying leverage here. But the second is we've got to get the energy out of us. So if you watch here on these guys, let's highlight one at a time here. Let's go with Tommy Fleetwood in the white pants, blue. You see he's playing leverage. He has front shoulder, doesn't pull away. And then right out here, he's got to get the energy out of him into the golf club, and that's the slingshot. So eventually that's why we have to keep that force and then get the energy into the club. And see, you're turning so much away from the ball, you can't get the club is running late. As you see Tiger above him. As soon as they create that leverage feeling, and then they get the energy into the club. Force, let it go. They're hitting a force, and then they release the energy into the golf club. So that's a part of you done late in your swing when your body's ready. Now in the backswing, we need to stabilize it. The backswing is probably the best part of your swing. You still need to feel that you're more stable and getting more resistance here in the core, in that area, and stay away from the shoulder feeling. So at the top of your swing, you should feel more resistance. So in that drill, I wanted you to feel when you hug your ribs, you see here, I'm going to hold that club. I'm going to feel resistance here, so I can feel this move on top of my hips, but I'm resisting here. Resistance, the best way to feel is if somebody was going to try to push me over, I would engage with my feet in the ground, just hold steady so somebody couldn't push me. And that's where you want to feel that resisting feeling. And then we're going to move from the rib cage. And then what you would feel here is a stretch. And when you do this arm is a lever to stretch that muscle underneath your shoulder blade against your core muscles. So you should feel that little stretch. So now the backswing becomes a resistance, not just turning freely. So here I am in a stretch position. I have resistance and a stretch right underneath that shoulder blade, feeling width, feeling powerful that you can create energy from here. Your body just kind of turns and turns. It's got all the energy staying down. It's hard for you to stay down on the shot. Now the best way to see that, Jon Rahm is a stretcher. He doesn't have a short swing, but he is, watch how he's resisting. And stretching. So we think he has a short swing, but he actually has a lot of spring. We're building a spring of energy, like we're stretching right through here, and this is where we're going to get on the speed really quick. We're stretching and applying leverage. And just keep saying that. And then we let the club go flying by. So grip, stabilize, and learn how to try to get that feeling of you not hitting with your shoulders. Anything, shoulders aren't a part of the swing. They're a part of the slingshot. They aren't part of as a force. And when your shoulders become the force, your club's always running late.